This SoonerScoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. If you're ready to see the rest of the world just as clearly, get your fresh perspective at Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop Lasix. Welcome back. Eddie Radosevich, George Stoya here as we get back from an open portion of media viewing over at Oklahoma's Friday morning practice. Welcome back to the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel, a practice report that kind of go like sights and sounds based off of, right? Yeah. Oklahoma practice number 2 on Friday morning. We were able to go out there for about an hour, George.
It was awesome.
That was awesome today.
It was awesome. We've got some great clips in here for you guys. Also go check out Sights and Sounds. It's probably one of the longer
it's like 8.5 minutes of practice today, which, I think that aesthetically at least, don't know how this team's going to be. It looked good today, and there's a lot to get into. Obviously seeing our first looks at Jadyn Ott as well as seeing John Mateer. It still feels relatively new, even though he still feels like somebody that's been around for a couple of years now, and as well as some of the defensive guys as they work through the position battles here over the next 29 days leading up to kickoff on August 30th. Just kind of overall, do you have any just big takeaways from this morning's hour viewing session?
Marcus James is huge.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good.
One guy we haven't talked really at all about, and I don't anticipate him playing a lot this year, but I just remember watching part of the drills and being like, who is 28? And then I was like, oh, that's Marcus James.
Little bit of a different format than Oklahoma, at least from what we've been able to see. We've gone out there before and you get a bunch of stretching and then they do a bunch of individual drills. Actually got to see some inside drill today, which was, I don't know, great. It was kind of fun.
And it was
actual football.
They weren't full pads too. So we'll get to some of those clips and just know that, it's a little different when you put the full pads on, but it was physical. I mean, it was a little chippy out there. It was great.
Definitely like watching the offensive staff coaching, as Kerry reminds us.
Kuzowski,
Ben Arbuckle, he taught me some new words today, some new language.
Kuzowski?
Yeah.
I don't
Coach K. The real Coach K. How about that?
Yes, the real Coach. He is intense, man. Yeah. He was in people's shorts. I mean, he was getting after it with Mateer and Hawkins and Neubauer, all those guys. So, the offensive staff certainly, and obviously Bill Beatenbow and DeMarco Murray, they're very intense. And even Joe John Finley was chewing some guys' asses out today, too.
Might have some good stuff on the tight end group here shortly. I know that, check out George's notes from day 2 of practice. But
$1.
Sounds like one of those guys. We'll not give it away. One of those guys had a really good day. Before we get to everything, let us tell you about our good friends over at Poncho Outdoors. I ordered my stuff last night. I'm extremely excited to get that in because with this weather that they got out there today, unbelievable weather for some poncho gear. It's fabric, performance fabric, amazing fit, and more features than a Swiss Army knife. It's the only shirt you can throw on in the morning and end up wearing all day, whether you're on the trail, out on the water, or whatever you're getting into, like us going out to practice today. As you see there, Carrie going through the Poncho Outdoor website. It is ponchooutdoors.com. Go to ponchooutdoors.com/SoonerScoop for $10 off your first order. That's PONCHO outdoors.com/SoonerScoop for $10 off and free shipping. Go try one out. I know that I will be, and I'll probably be wearing it here on the program, hopefully by the end of next week, I would think. All right. Thank you to Poncho. Really good stuff. We need to get you some stuff as well. Get you some gear.
And it's going to be great for Josh.
Yeah,
Josh
absolutely.
loves that stuff.
It's kind of right up his alley. I know that Colt McCoy wears a lot of it, so we're kind of brothers in the Poncho's arms now.
I know OU fans don't like Colt McCoy. I think Colt McCoy is a great guy.
Friend of mine, friend of yours, friend of Sam Bradford as well. All right, let's get into it. Pretty cool today. I thought that awesome. Just kind of getting out there and seeing guys like John Mateer again, just maybe not so much playing as much as just kind of being out there, being the leader that everybody's kind of talked about.
Yeah, look, I mean, I said it to you, the way he just carries himself. I hate doing the comparison thing with Baker again, but it's true. There's kind of the way he carries himself, but it was cool to see him out there as well as Ben Arbuckle, as you see on the screen, like just the offense. And they were running through some stuff that we've never really seen before. I mean, they were going over plays while we were out there. And
a lot of red zone stuff, working with wide receivers and, where to put the ball. I liked it.
Yeah, that's stuff that we typically don't get to see. And Mateer's definitely very vocal. That was one thing that I took away is like he's always talking to guys. You see him running there too. Like he looked great running, and maybe there's some clips in the inside drill of him running, but he can really get after it too.
Well, the guy that we can start with, and we talked to him for the first time on Wednesday, is the guy that you just saw on the screen, Jadyn Ott. As advertised is probably the best way to say it. He had a couple runs during the inside drill that we'll show here later on in the program that were pretty impressive, but just kind of off the hoof, what'd you think of Jadyn Ott, seeing him move around for the first time?
He looks great. I mean, physically, I know we said it kind of when we got to meet him in person. He's bigger than what you anticipate, but then you see him out there, with a football uniform on, and he just looks good. And you can tell he's got a lot of juice, like the way he cuts, things like that. Like it's just very smooth, I think is the best way to put it, and you'll see it in some of the inside drill clips, but even just doing some of the normal running back drills, and I thought it was interesting. He was leading the group. I mean, he was the first guy to go in a lot of sessions, him and Javonte Barnes. I know Barnes had a really good day at practice today as well, from what I understand, but I think Jadyn is like you said, as advertised.
We saw a little bit of some of the individual stuff too, just working with him, getting him out of the backfield, catching the ball in the flats. Yeah. It certainly looks comfortable. I think that we knew that was going to be the case with him. Let's stay in the running back room though, because I think we both came back, and here we are again during the middle of Oklahoma preseason football talking about Javonte Barnes. Thought he looked extremely well today.
Dude, every time we go to camp, whether it's in the fall or the spring, even I remember this last spring, he didn't even practice and just standing out there, you're like, man, Javonte Barnes looks good. Like, That's just a guy that looks great in a football uniform, and we've seen it, man. Like, when he's healthy, he's a really good running back. I mean, he's not a superstar by any means, but he's a guy that can get the job done, and he's clearly probably their biggest guy, maybe other than Xavier Robinson, who wasn't out there today, as well as Taylor Tatum, but look, he's experienced. It's his fourth year now here at Oklahoma, which is kind of crazy to think that he's been here 4 years, and you can tell he's a leader in that room. I know Jadyn Ott said that, but physically, I think he looks the part. He's getting a lot of first-team reps along with Jadyn Ott. I wouldn't be shocked if you see some two-back stuff where both those guys are out there.
Sure.
I mean, I know you mentioned it in one of our other shows that Ott has talked about, being out in the slot, doing some different things, being in motion.
Certainly seems like they could be a nice 1-2 tandem if if you could get them. Obviously Javonte stays healthy. There's something there. We've seen it before.
Yeah, he was playing great football last year until he got hurt.
Sure, coming off the 200-yard game against Maine, and then all of a sudden he didn't play.
He played well against Ole Miss. Remember, he was having a really good game. So I think he's a really good football player. That certainly, if he's your second option behind Ott, that's a really good second option.
You had mentioned it in the program, I believe, on Thursday afternoon that you can see here on SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel, just in terms of the offensive line and the starting group that was out there. Basically the same starting group that you ended spring with. It was good to see the bunch of those guys out there today, move it around. Ryan Foje actually was running a little bit with the ones, and you put it up in the notes this morning on the Crimson Corner coming out of practice. Fabechi Wewu was not there today.
Yeah, and I was told that it was a personal matter, nothing to be worried about, not anything bad either personally. Just wasn't able to make practice. In fact, I think it was a scheduled thing that the team knew about, that he wasn't going to be there today. So opportunity for a guy like Ryan Foje, who, back in the spring, he was getting a lot of time with the second team, even rotated in with the first team a little bit at that right guard spot. The staff loves him. And I think that I'm not saying he's going to start for Oklahoma, but they certainly think that they can trust him to play some. And we'll see. I know all the talks about Michael Fasusi, and we'll get to him in a second in the day that he had today. But I think Ryan Foje is one of those players that Bill Beatenbow loves. It's going to take some time, and he's going to have to grow a lot. But he likes that. He likes Ryan Foje, as well as obviously see Michael Fasusi here. He's got a lot of growing to do as well.
It kind of seemed like one of those things that it was just good to be able to get out there and see. As you see Daniel Akinkunmi right here, UK Dan, affectionately known by Brent Venables. It seemed like, though, it kind of came to fruition of what we talked about. It seems like they have good depth, at least in that 2 deep.
I think they have really. I mean, there was times today that, and again, you don't really know what's first, second, third.
Yeah, we got to put a disclaimer on everything. It's the second day of practice.
Yeah, so it's like it's hard to tell, but like it's kind of clear, like when the group's rolling through. I mean, there was times that Logan Hallen's rolling at third team left tackle. That's a guy that could probably start for a lot of programs. Jacob Sexton, I think, is kind of the front runner at left tackle right now. Michael Fasusi is rotating in there too. Logan Hallen's getting some time. Hito Zaida is running a lot with the second team. I thought Eddie Pierre-Louis.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have that clip in.
I think you got it. Yeah. I might have been focused in on somebody else, but he
destroyed Trent Wilson. I hate to throw Trent Wilson out there, but in freshman moment for him, but boy, he looked great, Eddie Pierre-Louis.
Kind of a welcome to the league kid.
Yes, but he seems like a front runner to maybe win that left guard spot. So they've got a lot of different bodies. Even you forget about a guy like Luke Baklenko was out there playing some right tackle. Derek Simmons, I thought looked really good out there with the starting unit. So Jake Michaela, I know that you mentioned he's a big guy. He's listed at what, 6'5"?
Maybe he's not the heaviest guy, but at 6'5", that thing is dispersed. Tall. The weight is dispersed throughout.
Yeah, and even Owen Hollenbeck, that's a big dude. Yeah. I mean, that is a big kid. I know he's probably not going to play much this year as long as they stay healthy, but boy, is he a big dude.
Certainly one of those guys that was a part of that freshman group, that freshman class that comes in so highly touted. And obviously one of the reasons why is Michael Fasusi. And certainly when you watch Big Mike work out there, it kind of always brings a smile to your face because that's what it's supposed to look like. That's why you go recruit 5-star guys. And he certainly looked the part today.
Dude, when you talk about guys that you're like, that's an NFL body.
Yeah.
It's Michael Fasusi. I mean, you watch him in the drills and just the length that he has, the way he moves his feet. It's just not like something you typically see from someone who's 18, 19 years old. So he's still got a ways to go. You can tell, when he's going through the individual drills, it's great. But when you get out to this part, he has good moments. Like right here, this is a pretty good block by him. I think that's against... Is it PJ or I think that's Marvin Jones Jr. that he's going up against there double teaming with, I think, Caden Helms. That's a good block. And then he'll have moments where, I don't know if we have the clip and maybe it's later on in the program, but R. Mason Thomas gets the best of him, which it's one of those things where it's like, man, you're going up against maybe a future first round.
For the next 29 days and basically for the rest of the year, that's what you want, though. You want our Mason Thomas going against Michael Fasusi every day.
Exactly. And it's just going to take a lot of reps for Michael. I think that's one thing that you have to be patient with him. He's got all the physical talent in the world. I think that mentally he needs to make sure he's not hesitating, knowing exactly what he's being asked to do and then just going and blowing guys up. But I think the footwork, again, the actual physical talent, it sounds like he's one of the strongest guys on the team already. Like he's going to have every opportunity to be a really, really good player for Oklahoma.
Really good. I guess it was a good setting there for the Oklahoma offensive line. It seemed like
I heard they had a really good day today.
For the most part, I was going to say, for the most part, from what we saw, it seemed like the offensive line held up against a defensive line that's obviously extremely talented.
Yeah, and Grayson Holton wasn't out there today. If you read my notes from yesterday, you know that he's missing a little bit of time. I don't think it's anything serious, but you're right. And I think I try to think back to last year, Eddie, and what we saw at practice, and we didn't get to see this much at practice, but some of the things we heard is like, man, the offensive line's just getting whooped. It didn't seem like that was the case. There's certainly times when, guys get the best of other guys. Like I said, R. Mason Thomas got the best of Michael Fasusi today.
Sure.
Jaron Kanik as well. That's going to happen when you play guys like R. Mason Thomas. But it also felt like there was a good amount of times, at least in that inside drill, where, oh, wow, they were opening a pretty good gap for the running back to get through. So you like to see that from the offensive line.
Obviously going to be down Javani Gibson. Saw him out there today. He is, just wearing a top, the uniform top, or jersey. I believe that's what it's called, a jersey. He was just out there hanging out, but we did see wide receiver unit today. It looks like they have a number of guys. I know that Elijah Thomas caught some people's eye today. Keontez Lewis was somebody that caught a lot of attention and sounds like he's having a good year, but it's Zion Kearney over the first 2 days that sounds like he's having the best one of all of them.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of run with the first team. I think he earned that over the course of the summer. It sounds like he had one of the best summers of anybody on the team, and so he's getting some of those early first team reps, and he's taking advantage. It sounds like he got in the end zone today. He had a really good day yesterday as well. I think he's somebody, along with, you see Deion Burks on the screen, that could end up starting. And when you look at the guys that are rolling out there a lot with the first team, it's Deion Burks, Zion Kearney, Isaiah Satania, Keontez Lewis. Like, those are kind of the four guys. Elijah Thomas is rotating in here and there with the ones and twos. But I like this group, Eddie. I think they look great out there. It's just one of those things where it's like, I got to see it to believe it, you know?
And can they get the work done against really good quarterbacks in the league that is the SEC?
Yeah, and can they, stay healthy? I mean, that's a big thing. I think last year's wide receiver room was probably pretty good. They just couldn't stay healthy. So I think it's a solid group. It's just kind of an unknown. Like, we don't know much about Keontez Lewis, right? We haven't seen him play for Oklahoma. Same with Isaiah Satania. Zion Kearney, we saw it late in the season. I think he physically looks fantastic, and it seems like it's mentally clicking for him. It didn't seem like there was a lot of him, in the wrong spot or anything like that. And that's what you want to see from a second-year guy.
In terms of somebody, if we wanted to single him out, I know that we talked about Zion Kearney, but it sounds like, Keontez Lewis is one of those guys that we talked about coming out of the spring, and certainly when he came in that wide receiver transfer portal group, probably not one of the first guys that we were talking about. It was Giovanni Gibson. Keontez Lewis seems like he's carving himself out a role within the offense.
And I think it's because he didn't come with all the, gaudy stats or from a big school like in Arkansas, like Satania did. He was at, Southern Illinois last year. But people forget he started his career, I believe, at Wisconsin. I want to say he even spent some time at, was it UCLA? I think he had
I can't remember.
I think, but he's played at, this kind of level before. And I think that why we didn't talk a ton about him in the spring is he had a little bit of a groin issue, and that held him out some of the practices. It sounded like he had a great summer. He spent a lot of extra time with John Mateer. John was telling me that down at the Manning Passing Academy, that he was somebody that he thought could be kind of a surprise player for Oklahoma this year. And it certainly is playing out that way in camp the first 2 days. Like I said, he's getting a lot of reps with that first group. So you like to hear that. He's a bigger body guy, and I think he's just consistent. I think that's what Oklahoma really likes about him. You know what you're getting from him every single play.
Let's flip over to the defensive side. I spent a lot of time shooting a lot of the offensive guys, but did spend some time. Our guy Andrew West was over with the defensive guys. And let's start defensive back, because I know that there's a lot of position battles that are going to be going over there, but maybe most importantly, seeing number 9 out there moving around today, Gentry Williams.
Yeah, he's full participant, which is great, and he's running with the first team. I mean, he is starting at corner, which is what you want. I think that other corner spot is going to be fascinating to watch because you love what you have in Gentry, but the name that I keep hearing, and you see him right here, Davon Jordan. I think he got some reps with the first team the first 2 days, and he's somebody that I think can really run. He's one of the fastest players on the team. I think he's going to be able to play quite a bit for Oklahoma maybe this year. Jacoby Johnson as well is getting some run with the first team. Cortland Guillory, the true freshman, is somebody that stood out. And Reggie Powers,
I was going to say,
safety. That's one to watch. He was out there. We saw today. He was running with the first team at safety, not cheetah, and playing alongside Robert Spears-Jennings. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what role he plays on this team.
Reggie Powers, number 13 right there. So, it's going to be very interesting. And I think that, obviously you have Kendall Daniels out there running most of the reps with the first team at the cheetah position. Did you catch who was the second team guy out there with the cheetah position?
I think it was Reggie.
Okay, so
I
he
think
just
Reggie
bumps down.
would bump down.
Peyton Bowen comes in at safety, possibly.
Peyton Bowen. They've got a lot of different guys. You see Dolby here, too, as we're talking about cheetahs. He had the cast on his wrist. I know he's also still recovering from that ankle, but it was good to see him out there running around.
Sure.
He was playing some corner when we were out there.
Right.
So we'll see. I don't,
Brent Venables talked about on Wednesday at the opening press conference.
So I think that they've got, it's just a lot of different guys. So it's early. 2 days into camp. We don't know what's going to happen. So I think they're playing a lot of different guys in a lot of different spots. First team, second team, third team. They're just trying to get a lot of these guys some different reps.
Good news is you got a number of guys back there that I think have a little bit of ability, and I know the coaching staff's extremely excited about some of them. Even somebody like a Michael Boganowski, who we didn't show there, but was certainly out there today and ready to.
Just remember, it's the second day.
Yeah.
So it'll all come together when it's supposed to.
I always kind of joke that the preseason camp for me doesn't really start until they get down over the rugby field.
Fields,
and I believe that'll be coming up next week.
Yep.
They're still over at the practice fields today. Let's move to the defensive line. Obviously, our Mason Thomas, PJ Adebore, they kind of lead that group, if you will. We talked about all the defensive guys on the interior, whether it be Dominic Williams or Greg Zalton, who you mentioned was out here during the early portions of practice. Taylor Wine, somebody that we talked about on the program yesterday. The hype continues for number 44.
He just looks so big. out there. Like R. Mason isn't like R. Mason looks good, but he's not like somebody that you're like, oh, physically he just is massive. Taylor Wine's a big dude.
Just shoving Danny.
He's full of energy. That reminds me of last year when he got, was it 2 personal fouls like on one play?
Yeah, I that's when I fell in love with him. I think that he has a little bit of crazy in him. To be honest, I think he has a little bit of crazy in him. Danny Okoye is a big guy, and he just pushed him around.
I like that trio right there.
Yeah.
I think all.
And then you have the elder statesman in the back, or Mason Thomas.
Chilling.
There's Danny Okoye. Better look at the sophomore defensive end for Oklahoma. Marvin Jones Jr., as seen on screen right here, I thought he looked pretty good today.
Yeah, he definitely looks the part. I think that he's somebody that we haven't talked a ton about. He missed some time in the spring, but I think he's going to end up playing quite a bit for Oklahoma as long as he can stay healthy. You also saw David Stone, Jadyn Jackson. Good to see both those guys out there, especially Jadyn.
Jadyn Jackson's just a little
monster. A massive human.
He's just a little monster.
Yeah, him and watching him, like I was watching those guys hit the bags, and it was like Dominic Williams, Jadyn Jackson, David Stone. I was like, that's a pretty solid trio right there.
No doubt about it. This was kind of the coolest part of practice. It was towards the end of the viewing period today. We were out there for probably about an hour today, so this was about the final 20 minutes of practice today, but actually was some pretty cool inside stuff with the actual football being played, if you will. It was good to see, obviously Taylor Wine made a couple plays during that. I thought the offensive line played extremely well during that portion of practice, and particularly somebody like a Jadyn Ott.
There's the Eddie Pierre-Louis clip, Carrie, if you could run that back.
Run that back.
Is that the same?
It must have been the same
play that Taylor Wine, but if you watch Eddie Pierre-Louis, he's playing guard right here, he just demolishes
flips him and turns him. I mean, Trent Wilson is a monster of a human too.
Yeah. Trent Wilson is every bit of 308 pounds is what he's listed at. So
I think that portion of practice too, and talking about Jadyn Ott, that was kind of the moment that I think we both agreed that it's like he sees things very, very well. And I know it's just an inside drill, but it's good to see, right?
Yeah, there was times where he would go into something, you're like, oh, how's he going to get out of that? And somehow, and again, it's tough because it's like they're not tackling, but he would just get out of there and make a move and get into space. And he just has a little extra something to him that you don't typically see. You see him there kind of squirt through there, but that's just not something we've been used to seeing at Oklahoma for some time.
Well, when you talk about the being able to pop things that Oklahoma hasn't been able to do here as of late, get that big explosive run, Jadyn Ott, he kind of showed it off today. Why maybe he could be that guy for Oklahoma.
Well, he can really cut. I feel like that's one of his best attributes. Is like his vision is extremely good, and he's able to get through holes that maybe you don't always see. But you see here too. I mean, it's just the offensive line's moving guys in this, and even I thought the tight ends. I think that's Carson Kent in there. Yeah. I thought the tight ends. They definitely have some moments where they get beat. But they also had some good moments where they're moving guys.
Let's talk about the tight end unit real quick. Before we get out of here, I want to hit on some special team stuff as well. It seems like, and again, we've been here before, believe me, but you look out there, you see Will Huggins, you see somebody like a Carson Kent, even a Caden Helms. They all look the part. Yeah. Can they play, though? Can they develop? Can Joe John Finley get this group right?
I like Will Huggins, mostly because his size. I think that he's a really big dude. Like, he certainly stands out. I don't know how much of a pass catcher he is. It did sound like he had a good day Friday receiving the ball, but Caden Helms, man, you and I say it every time too. It's kind of like Javonte Barnes. Boy, he looks great every time we go out there and watch him. So you wonder, you see Carson Kent there. I know they really like him in the passing game as well. He's not the biggest guy, but I know that they really like the way he runs. And then you have Jaren Kanak. I just don't know how much you can expect from a guy like that. Moving positions. I think he struggled at times blocking today. I think where he's going to be most dangerous is in the passing game.
Sure.
It sounds like he had a really good Friday as well. I won't give it all away. Make sure you go subscribe to Soonerscoop.com. You see him there. I think he has a knack for the football. I just don't know how reliable of a blocker he is right now. And again, it's second day camp. It's going to take him some time. It might even take him well into the season to grow into that. There's Will Huggins. He's just huge. I mean, he's every bit. What is he listed at? Like 6'6"?
I believe so. 6'5", 6'6". I think that was something, and I spent some time down there while they were working on some of that red zone stuff with the tight end position.
Yeah.
That's something that Arbuckle harped on today during practice, and I think they want to be able to use it. We saw it a little bit in the Crimson Combine. I don't know how much you could really actually take out of that, but I do think that they want that to be a weapon when they get inside the 20.
100%. And it's really hard right now because we go out there and, like I said, they're rotating a lot of guys. No other position is a good example of that than tight end. Like that is
everybody has an opportunity.
Every single guy was getting a first team rep today. Right. And that's where it's like they're just wanting to see somebody take that job. And you heard Arbuckle say that on media day is like he wants to see somebody prove themselves. And I don't even know. I think it's probably one of four guys: Will Huggins, Carson Kent, Jaren Kanak, Caden Helms. We saw Cade McIntyre out there today. I don't know if he was a full participant, but he was out there. Maybe he could get into that group. John Locke is the other transfer. We haven't heard much about him, so it feels totally wide open at that position.
No doubt. Last but not least, Oklahoma find themselves a kicker in the spring portal. Tate Sandell looked really good today coming in from
awesome.
UTSA. Was somewhat touted coming in as a really accomplished kicker in his time in San Antonio. I know that you were impressed with just the very minimal kicks that we saw today.
Yeah, I think we only saw like 3 kicks maybe, and he made all 3. One was a 50-yarder, and he just nailed it. I mean, probably would have been good from 60, and that's what you want to see because, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, prove it in a game. Well, he did last year for UTSA. Also, it's much different than what we saw in the spring where we would go out there, and if you were at the Crimson Combine, spring game, whatever it was, you knew how bad it was.
Sure.
I don't know if they made a kick at the Crimson Combine. That's how it was every time we went out to practice in spring. It makes you feel a little bit better about that group. Also, he's a lefty. Last time OU won the national championship, their kicker was a lefty. So there you go.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Little fact for
That's
you.
a little factoid for us.
Yep.
That's going to do it. Make sure you check out the SoonerScoop.com, the highlights, as well as SoonerScoop.com. There's plenty of coverage here from the first couple of days of preseason camp, and obviously going to be plenty more over the next 29 days as Oklahoma heads into the season opener against Illinois State on August 30th.
Monday. We get to go again.
Back at it on Monday. For George Stoya, I'm Ed Abradosovich. We'll see you back here on the Sooners.